Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story. Ken Somerville, my co host, Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener, and we're still going through Andy's books. We have a ways to go yet. But today we're talking about the Invisible Gardener's 7 R's. So, Andy, what the heck is 7 R's? Is that like retirement 7 times, or what?
Okay, let's find out there who knows. Any of you guys in the comments section, what do you think are the 3 R's? Because 3 R's is at least you should know that. You were taught in school the 3 R's. If you don't know the 3 R's, so put in a comment what you think the 3 R's are. And I did a little special slide, so I'm going to just get the slide started. Okay, there it is. See, what are the 3 R's? I learned the 3 R's.
Hold on, Andy. It's not on the screen yet, so hold on. Let me bring it up. Okay, now we're at, I think, the first slide. What are the 3 R's?
Right. So I was saying, this will reveal your age because when I was in school, which was a long time ago, this was a basic for me to learn. You have to learn your 3 R's. And what are they, right? Right? So do you know what it is, Ken, what they are?
Well, Dr. Greenson says walk like an Egyptian, but I don't think those start with R. But reduce, reuse, recycle.
There you go.
That silly Lily helped me out on that one. Okay, guys.
Oh, that's cheating. That's cheating. That's cheating. And so they came up with this really cool little cycle thing there. Reuse, reduce, recycle. That was like quite a few years ago. I think when I was in my early youth, and probably even in the early 70s. But I definitely remember this in school. So they were probably doing it way back then, I think also to me it started during one of the wars when America was trying to make sure that they had everything that they need to, right? So I think that's when it started. And so let's just cover these a little bit, okay? So you like this? I've been working on this stuff for you guys.
Yeah, it looks good.
So for me, reduce and minimize waste is one of them, but you can reduce in a lot of different ways. For example, drive less, right? Try to do something less, like for whether or not you're buying stuff with plastic in it. Try to buy less of those things. Try to buy what you need and not more, because you tend to throw so much stuff away. So, over here we have, reusable alternatives, but actually that should go under the reuse, because that's what reuse is all about, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Yeah. See, so that I screwed up there and put it in the reusable alternative, even though it really goes in a separate file. But I learned about reducing from a practical sense in terms of just when I was a kid, my parents would always be very thrift in how they packaged my lunch and how they put everything together and in the kitchen. I always knew about having a compost bin, even when I was young. And lots of stuff were always constantly being. So to me, when I thought about it, is to reduce what you think you need. You do less of it, right?
Yeah.
And the reusing part is very obvious. Is instead of throwing something away, right? You can use it in a different way, or you can pass it on. So lots of clothing, lots of things can be passed on to other people who can then reuse it. That's really a good way to pass on stuff instead of throwing them away in the trash and it piles up. And so I learned from the reuse. For me, the reuse, and here's my weird thinking about this: is the reuse is that I started reusing. Oh, and by the way, the previous one was reduce, and this one reuse and recycle. These are the things that I apply to my business, my pest control business, and my gardening business. So this reuse, I'll give you an example of my contribution to reusing. So I would go to the store, go shopping. Actually, I've had videos and stuff like that. I was interviewed, or I'm running through the shopping center buying stuff, and I said it has to be in an organic store. I'm not going to be running around in all these other places that sell junk. I want to be in organic. So I would go in the store. But anyway, I would go in there and I would look. It depends on the area you know what I was looking for. But usually when I run through, I would get soap, for example. So in the natural place and organic gardening store, the soaps are very clean. They usually don't have any toxins in it. Maybe it's just herbal, or there may be other types of mixtures that could be used, but they're all natural stuff. So I've learned that soap is a very incredible thing you can use in gardening. Lots of different things you can do with soap. And the good old farm, they actually made their own soap, and lots of different things that could come from it. So I also learned how to reuse milk. So I would go and buy some milk, organic milk, of course. I would reuse that. I have a different alternative that the milk that people produce the milk would never have thought about. You're doing what with milk, right?
Well, Andy, would that be a reuse or more of a repurpose? Because like there's lots of things that you can repurpose.
I don't have a word repurpose in this 3R mix. Okay, otherwise now you'll call it saying it's actually 8. It has another R to it, repurpose, because actually repurpose. Repurpose and reuse is very interesting because it kind of, to me, mean the same thing. Reuse means you repurpose it. You use it a different way. That's what I think. It doesn't mean it does mean the same thing. Repurpose is actually a clearer way of saying take something, using it in a different way. It's okay. For me, reusing means take something, using it in a different way. Same thing, right? So I see it to be the same, but it depends on your class, how much class you got, and your English and the way you see words. Repurpose. Well, I kind of like repurpose because it's very clear. It says, yeah, you're going to use it in a different way. For me, reuse, just the same thing. But repurpose, very classy. I like that.
Well, Lily put up the 7 R's. She obviously probably threw it up into Google search, but 7 R's: rethink, reuse, reduce, refuse, repair, refit, or regift. Sorry.
No.
Repurpose and recycle.
She didn't get it.
Well, I don't know. There's so many. It's like your jeans there that you're showing.
Yeah.
You know, if you have, a pair of jeans where you've blown a knee out, well, you can cut jean material off the ones that don't fit anymore and sew it on as a patch.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I grew up that way, Andy. Like I
and that's reuse.
Everything. Like they call us hoarders, okay? But I have a garage full of stuff that I might use someday. So I don't want to throw it away because it will be useful, but then you come into my garage, you go, oh my God, you're a hoarder. But yeah, my grandparents, they didn't throw things away. But one of the big things, Andy, I would like to point out is if you're using glass, you can reuse it over and over and over again, where these plastic things, you don't want to be doing that.
No, glasses are one of my favorite things to store things in. They last forever as long as you don't break it, of course, but they can be used over and over. You should put it in there, steam clean it, nice and clean. So I tend to use, and that's what, we have to learn, that you have to get away from plastic. So I was watching this YouTube channel yesterday, and they were saying, when you get it has to do with a bean, for example. So they were saying that you want to take the beans, so you want to store them in a glass container so it doesn't be exposed to plastic, right?
Yeah.
But it came in the plastic. They showed them taking it out of the plastic. Packaging.
I know it's kind of the first. It really is the purpose of what they're trying to do. They're destroying.
It's like, excuse me, how long were those beans in that plastic bag? You had to tell me. And it was like, oh, that really just. I still laugh about it because it's. But anyway, let me click on this one here. This is a recycle. Now, recycling for me. Again, it really has to do with things in the garden. So I tend to reuse these things. You see, reusing cycling is also almost the same term, because if you reuse stuff, you actually are recycling them. But in terms of what we're talking about here, we tend to like to think about using things that we can turning waste materials into valuable resources. But and that's having to do putting the bins, letting it go out to the system so that the system can recycle it. But it's also recycling that you can do within your own place that you can use it slightly different. Because if you take something, instead of throwing it away, you can say, well, I can use that for this instead. And that brings me up
Isn't that kind of what compost is? That's the ultimate plant recycling.
Well, compost only deals with certain things that you can actually, do that with. The other stuff you can't. So, things like plastic and glass and other kinds of things, you can't really compost them. So but there are ways. If I had land, I could figure out how to turn them into soil. I would figure that out, no problem.
Well, Andy, did you check out the last show with Wiggle Brew that we had a couple of weeks ago?
No, I didn't.
Well,
What I missed?
Check it out, because they're taking plastic and they're grinding it up and adding it to a specific worm bin in a specific quantity, and they're actually making or breaking down that plastic into its component parts.
Good for
and
them.
Then they're selling the worm juice to farmers all over the place.
It's good for them. Good for them. I like that. I like that. That's absolutely wonderful. To me, it's getting to be amazing that more and more people are doing this, and I'm glad that it's just like marijuana being legal. So I'm glad I was alive when it actually happened, because all of my life, it was like, oh, yeah, you should arrest him for, it's like, but now as I made it through that, and at the same time, I'm also getting to see a resurgence in creativity and how people invent things to make more amazing things, and it's all for the benefit of our soil biology, our human biology, of the Earth's biology. That's so cool, because that's a big issue. Okay, forever plastic, wonderful, And I did not envision having the Earth forever and ever, for eternity, being covered in plastic.
No, and there's lots of different things happening in these regards, but the best thing about what they're doing is they're producing a product that they can send out to help regenerate the biology in soils on these farms. And that's where it truly lies, Andy. Like it's all about the biology, whether it's plants, animals, or us. Keep our planet healthy, keep us healthy, and that's why we're looking at taking those resources and reusing them, repurposing them. And do you only have 3 R's that you've done? Because the show was Invisible Garden 7 R's.
Yeah.
Where are the other ones, Andy? Rethink.
Right. So this is a very really. I didn't think it up. I don't know if I did or not, but I believe we have to rethink how we use things. Rethink how we destroy things. Rethink how we throw things away. Rethink the whole process, and not be so nearsighted. We have to really change our ideas of how we use things around us. What is okay to do? Like we need to rethink nuclear power plants, for example. Let's maybe think about that a little longer, right? Decide and come up with a better way that doesn't produce nuclear hazards, right?
It's kind of like solar panels. It takes more energy, and it creates more problems on our planet to build the damn things than the benefit that we're getting from them, because they don't last, and then you have to replace them, and it's the same lithium mines for the batteries.
Right.
All these things destroying.
All that junk ends up in India, right? And the junk there,
Yeah.
And what about wind power? Those blades have killed hundreds of thousands of birds.
Millions.
Millions, right. There you go. And it's like, that seems like a good thing to do. And the interesting about those windmills is that they have the technology. They have this little device that they make it for. It's actually for cars. There's a certain line of cars that comes with this little. It's like it goes on the outside of the car in the front
It's a whistle.
Yeah, the wind blows through it, and animals hear it miles away.
Yeah.
They could put that on the blades, but it costs a penny to do that.
Well, and the thing is, it's not just that they're killing all the birds, etc. Those blades actually put off a harmonic frequency
Oh dear.
that can really damage the human biome.
Yeah.
So our bodies, and they shouldn't be, anywhere. They shouldn't be on the oceans either, because then they're creating that break in life in the oceans as well.
Never mind about putting a whistle on the blade then.
Well,
who knows what that will
crazy.
do, right?
Well, we can actually draw energy right from the freaking atmosphere. I've seen YouTube videos on it, and it's easy to do. It doesn't damage anything. There's no frequencies from it.
I know. Right. There are lots of Tesla proven that he could that energy was free, and energy is free. So we just have to get off of the system. You have to buy this energy when we can generate it ourselves. That's one of the goals. I think I will see it in my lifetime where everybody will have their own source of energy in their home.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think that's going to be in the near future, Andy. A lot of things are changing. A lot of
boss.
People are waking up more and more every day.
Yeah, boss. Yep. So this is my fifth one.
Replant, save our trees.
Yeah, and I didn't say there were 7. I said there were 5. There are 5 R's.
Okay.
But there could be lots of other ones if you count. There's so many different like Silly Lily's suggested. You can actually come up with quite a bit of R's.
Yeah.
But a replant is very dear to me because we need to stop cutting them down, and we need to reverse the way we deal with trees, because it should be against the law, and we actually need a forest more and more than ever now. We need herbal greenery. The cities should be. I had this dream once. I don't know if I told you about this, but I'm a pilot flying, and I was looking for the city, the airport to land, but I couldn't find it because all I could see was forest and greenery. I couldn't see where to land.
Oh, you must have been up here in Alberta where we have 1,000 miles where all it is forest.
Yeah. Well, right. Well, anyway, the whole story of the point of that is like you need as much city greenery as you can, and they actually in California they're saying you need like 25% senior green, which is really like what 75% is what. See, so so we actually cut down too many trees. We have too many. We don't really take care of the earth from the trees' point of view. There's actually more and more damage is happening to trees there. So I consider this one a very important part of my 5 R's. And this is my little thing in the answer. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. There you go.
We're back. We're big again, Andy. I grew up, man. It happened in an instant.
Isn't that cool? So here we are. How much time we got? Yeah, we still got plenty of time. Don't we? Only 16 minutes.
Yeah, we've got like 40 minutes left. But
I do have something else that I could show, but I don't know if I'm going to do it.
Well, Andy, I don't know either.
It could be a special. It may take me a minute to find it, but I was just working on it. I was interviewed, so I wanted to produce the interview, but I didn't want to say, hey, guess what? I'm going to do a little surprise.
Actually, Andy, that's one of the beauties of our show. It goes everywhere and covers everything. So if you want to play an interview that you've done, sure, bring it on, brother. We'll run it here.
While we're talking, let me see if I can just pull this one up too, okay? Because I think I actually like it, and let me see if I could find it now.
Okay, well, you look for it, and I'll just yap on about the R's here. there's so much that we can do. Andy was like replanting the trees, but literally replanting anything into your soil is going to
More
give
roots
us
are better, right? More roots in the soil.
exactly. The more roots, the more energy that transfers into the soil structure. And the more when you're doing grounding, the more you have that you're pulling up from that system. It's remember, it's all connected. We come literally and are supported by the soil because that's what grows the plants, animals, etc. Without that nutrition coming into our bodies, we don't exist. So literally we are maintained by the soil. So if we are not maintaining that soil to get those nutrients, we're doing a disservice to ourselves as well as the future of humanity.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm just want to throw this up.
Oh,
A
no,
fan of
no.
homemade pine biochar, amazing, cool, man. Keep at it.
Let me know
So
when
you're
you're.
gonna bring it up, Andy, or are you gonna launch it, or what you
Yeah,
doing?
here we go. Here we go. Okay. So I'm bringing the window up nice and big for everybody.
Go ahead and play it, man.
Okay, yeah, let me see. Where I can't get at it. Wait a second. Okay, there you go. Hi, my name is Andy Lopez, and I'm the Invisible Gardener. If you're going to start a vegetable garden, the first thing you do, and this is the only time you have the opportunity to do this, is to make sure that the soil is in the proper condition. The way the bugs have evolved, they only go after plants that are not healthy. You avoid it by simply paying attention to the health of the soil. When we're dealing with the biology of the soil, we want it to be within a certain range, because that's when the microbes are there. Anything above that, anything below that, you won't have the right microbes, and you need the biology in order for the plants to get the food that they need in order to be healthy. So there are lots of ways to test it. The easiest way is to get a pH meter. It's a little stick you stick in the ground, bing, tells you the pH level, or you can send it off to a lab. pH is the acidity level of the soil. You have neutral, which means septic. Anything higher than that is alkaline, anything lower than that is acidic. So if you want to have vegetables, fruit trees, things you eat, some fruit trees like the more acidic, some fruit trees like the more alkaline. They're all different time of year you can grow them. Some things you cannot grow in the wintertime. So you'll learn the process. It's not that hard to do. It's really very simple. So you do something, you make a mistake, and go, I guess I can't do that. You learn. Hi, here I am at the compost setup. It's the key to the health of the garden. The better you make compost, the better your garden's going to be. A shredder speeds up the process for you. You don't have to wait long. And there are bins. I'll teach you all about how to make this to make the best compost in the world. This is rock dust. It's a source of trace minerals. What you want to do is get a couple of different varieties of rock dust so you know you have a nice blend of trace minerals. Trace minerals is all about trace minerals. In the compost making process, you want to have some brown matter, and you want to have some green matter. Very important. And then over here we have a natural blend of rock dust and a couple of different types of organic fertilizers that we want to use. The compost we buy in the stores could be months, if not years old. Nothing's alive in it. It's a good amendment. It may look good, but it doesn't have a living microbe. So if you do that, you have to buy something with the microbes in it. Nowadays, you can type microbes in Amazon too. You get all kinds of stuff that comes up. And then you add that to your soil. You pour it into your soil. And you start slowly increasing it. What I do is I grow earthworms, which is one of the best sources of the microbes. I get their liquid and I add that to the soil. Nowadays, you can order any type of worm farm. People selling worm farms in container, all different ways to make a worm. And you're actually feeding the worms. They love coffee, organic coffee. They love potatoes. They love anything you can eat except meat. They won't eat meat. They won't go through bones. you know. But they so I go to the store. I said, one banana for me, one banana for the worm. I cut ball bands off and slice it. I go look in the worm farm. They're in there going, hey, this is wonderful. They love apples. So you're actually feeding the worms. So you have two setup. One's compost. You make your compost. That's different. And you have your worms. So you want to make it a good environment so your earthworms survive. They'll produce a microbe for you. So those are long term. Short term is when I say, okay, I have to feed these plants. They have to eat. So I'm going to foliar feed them. That's why spraying. You feed them through the leaves. They absorb. You want to give them something that's rich in trace minerals that they can digest. You say, this bug is eating my plant. Well, I'm not going to kill the bug. I'm going to spray the plant with a mineral. That'll stop the bug. It look really good. They taste good. A lot of it's really very simple, but people are so complicated. They need to set some time aside. You have to learn to meditate, right? You have to be calm. The garden helps you to do that. You be peaceful in the garden. So you have to give it some time to do that. You have to be really into growing. You can't say, I'm going to check on the plant maybe once, the garden once a year, once a month. The garden has to be a part of your life that you're happy to do.
Okay.
So, guys, what do you think?
Cool. So, when you were doing that system where you were making the compost and you have your compost, you have your worm bin, were you using the compost as bedding in your worm bin by chance?
In the worm bin, yeah, right. So I have I usually have one layer of compost, or a little bit of compost throughout the bedding of the worm bin, right?
Yeah. Well, because then you're making what I call vermicast, which is a totally new level for worm castings.
Yeah. It really increases the biology 1,000-fold, really easy, and because of that, the availability of all the different trace minerals you feed it. I've been adding biochar for a long time, but it's you don't want a layer of that. You basically it's so thin you spread it throughout the mixture. When you're putting newspaper down or something, you sprinkle a little biochar with it, rather than a thick layer. Because if I tried that, it's like a goop in the middle there, a gooey cardboard.
You ever use big pieces, Andy, instead of a powdered biochar? Have you ever used bigger pieces?
Yeah, right. So it depends on the sources, because in the beginning when I started, they were like chunky.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking I make my own, so I can put in any size chunks I want.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I found that it's ridiculous to put in a big boulder, but you can have a little pieces easily enough. Even a handful. Because I felt that the biology will. The more surface it has, the more available to them.
Yeah, biochar is really, really special because it's just a non-organic carbon source for the biology to live in. Like 1 square inch of biochar, if you take it down to the biology's level, it's the size of a football field. So there's a lot of biology that can live in that area, right?
So what I would do is when I started doing the business, for example, in my personal yard here, I haven't been able to find a nice big chunk of biochar, but I could probably, if we knew we were talking about it, I would show you what I found. So I was walking on the beach, I found this burnt black piece. It obviously was a tree trunk, and it was like really just, and I brought it home with me. And my idea is to bury it in the backyard.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happens in a fire, because pyrolysis,
right.
To say it, is very special. It draws all the organics out of that piece of wood or bone or whatever you're charring, and it just leaves the carbon behind. But the carbon is it doesn't break down like Terra Preta, where this biochar really started. They started talking about it. Was in samples of Terra Preta. That's been around for thousands of years. They think biochar could last for 10,000 plus years.
Yeah, personally, I would love to make a raised bed out of it. And so what I have a friend that would make the wooden bed and then he would burn it.
Yeah, well, you can actually do it a lot of ways. Like I have a fireplace I can use in the winter for heat. I can actually make biochar in containers in there. You can do a T-Lud,
Yeah.
top load updraft. You can literally, dig a conical hole in the soil,
Yeah.
and create and make your own biochar. Right in that. There's so many.
They won't let us do that here.
Wow, yeah.
Anything that produces smoke will freaking right out.
Yeah. Well,
around me. What are you doing with
fires?
Hey, what are you doing? I'm just making some biochar, sir. Put it out. Right. So, anyway, so what are we talking about? So the 5 hours, well, yeah. So
let's stay with the biochar just for a couple of more minutes, okay. Andy, because Farmer Cheryl has a question. Do Andy and Ken activate their biochar in the same way, and with what? So, are when you are buying biochar, are you activating it to make sure it's actually not just char and has the bio part of it, or are you just buying like from someone that is doing it right?
Well, you're asking me about the biochar that I'm buying, because usually when I buy biochar, my favorite, well, see, in the beginning, you didn't have the personal contact. You was ordering, online, not necessarily online, over the mail, and then eventually online. So you still didn't know, and you have to somehow study the company. So there wasn't a whole lot of that. If they sold biochar, I would buy the biochar. I don't ask questions how it was made. None of those things. It doesn't make any sense to me other than the end product. But lately, I've been able to buy from people that I look right in the eye. Like I buy my biochar from Michael Whitman, so I'm not worried about the biochar. Right? But
when you were buying biochar before, where you didn't know, were you using, or what methods were you using to activate the biology to populate the biochar, or did you even bother?
There are many different methods. It really depends on what you prescribe to. For example, as you know, I work with energy a lot. So one of the things that I would definitely do is to charge the biochar with certain frequencies, because I believe that it would be like a resonator and it would vibrate at that frequency, which makes it even. My whole basis of doing intergardening music is because of certain frequencies, the biology tend to be there for that frequency. They really like that frequency, and that frequency also happens to be very conducive for the biology to work on minerals and releasing, that kind of structure living in there. So
yeah.
When I use biochar, especially if it's in larger pieces, the smaller pieces, the activation process is actually like, for example, either I would make in my compost, put it in my compost pile, or when I'm in the worm farm, I would actually add it to my worms. So I'm still doing that now, adding it to the worms. So that's how I activate it. But I'm always adding a small amount to my worm farm. And then later on, and what happens too, many different ways, but I use the leachate, the water that comes through. The water comes through. We'll have a lot of that. It would be filtering through the biochar and everything. So it would have this energy coming out of the biochar, which would be releasing the biology even more. You can see the connection there, because there's more biochar, more biology, more liquids come through, right? More biology comes out in the liquid, and the liquid is not a pump or anything. It's just the water flowing through, so there's nothing crushing the biology and other stuff. It drips into a container, and then it gets used in a lot of different ways. So that's how it was a secret. Now it's not a secret anymore. Never mind. Forget about it. I did not say I use biochar in my worm bin. Okay, just erase it. You never heard of it here.
All right, so let's jump to what I was doing, or the methods that you can use. You can use human urine. That's one of the ways that you can activate biology that will populate biochar. You can put it into an aquaponics system, and that'll slowly, add up the biology into it. The compost, fantastic method. It shouldn't just be put into the garden. It's like your wood chips, guys. If you're putting raw wood chips and you're mixing it into the soil, the biology literally is going to ignore your plants, and they're going to populate that wood chip or that cell structure to start breaking it down. And it's the same with biochar. The biochar needs to be activated, be full of biology before you use it, to try to grow plants. So,
Shooting it. I like shooting at it with a gun. No, with a ray gun.
Okay, well, okay. I know you're going for that crazy one, Andy, but we'll stay on reality for right now.
So I always did it. So for now, lately, the 30, 40 years since I've been here. Let's see, I came here in '89 to California. So, but in Florida, I had a larger worm, compost set up and a larger worm bin set up, and it was a good 3/4 acre kind of setup, But over here, land is very difficult to get, so I ended up with the the best and the most compact way, which was my worm farm.
Well, generally, the worm farm, the compost pile, those are optimal places. What?
I know. Okay, so here's this is really cool because you have to forgive me, but it popped into my head, and this is one really amazing way that I've learned to activate biochar. Is that when I first got a biochar, I was making compost, and my compost had different types of animal manure.
Yeah.
Well, guess what I would dust the animal manures with when I got them?
Probably with either biochar or with rock dust.
No, it was a blend of both.
Okay, well, okay. So I was right on both accounts. Cool.
I learned from, don't ask me how, but I learned from experience that charcoal and minerals go really well together when you're talking about biology. Okay, that's a combination that you want, because the biology takes the charcoal to break up the minerals. Isn't that cool?
Okay, that's a new one on me. Are they just using the carbon molecules?
No, the biology, it forms an acid called carbonic acid, and that's the acid that they use to break down all these minerals. It's called
so that's out of a charcoal, and that's got to be a soft charcoal to use the carbon. In biochar, the carbon is basically fossilized, where it's not a carbon source the biology can use. So I want people to understand that.
Okay, I got it.
True biochar is not organic carbon. It cannot be used, as an organic carbon source.
So that's different. Yeah. So that's different. So maybe what I was adding was some form of carbon on it. I thought it was biochar, but it's so long ago it could have been. And I don't remember talking about biochar until almost 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
I'm not sure when biochar first really got interesting. I know I watched a lot of commercial creations of biochar, people heating their greenhouses, massive greenhouses, from the heat that they were drawing off of the production of it. It's been around. Well, charcoal has been around for thousands of years. Biochar is a little bit different process because the char is at a much higher temperature. Like your briquettes in your barbecue, that's charcoal, but it's actually a different temperature relation to biochar. Biochar is actually cooked that much more or at a higher temperature. So there are things that you need to understand about biochar if you really want to go down that particular rabbit hole.
So I remember now something about this. So it was charcoal because I remember distinctly going to buy something that charcoal had already. You light it with a match,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that was a difference. That's not the right charcoal
yes,
that I would want. See, so I remember because my whole thing was carbon and biology together they make this acid, and they break down the trace minerals. That's different than the biochar because the biochar is a housing where they live in, which is a slightly
yes.
different setup than they're not going to eat up their house. Yeah, so I had
Well,
to.
I look at it. I I don't know if we really cover quorum sensing that much, but basically quorum sensing is when enough biology gathers, they can literally create biology that doesn't exist in the soil structure around them that needs to exist, like say to mine more carbon. But that's what I look at biochar as a repository of biology where it's so much easier to keep that in your soil for a tremendous amount of time.
True.
So Lily had a question. Would you add biochar after the compost is finished or add it during the process of the composting and right at the very beginning? And like somebody earlier was mentioning, they were adding it in to layers of lasagna
Yeah.
gardening that they're
Right
doing.
at the very beginning.
Perfect. Yeah, right at the beginning. You'll want it to get filled up before you put plants in there so that it's that part of the system's already set up.
Yep, right at the very beginning, all the way through it. And then when you're done with that compost, then you put that in the ground.
Yes. Yeah. So super. That's what I was doing in tin cans, etc. But remember, that's only the char. It hasn't been activated yet, so you're still only at the char stage. You need to activate it before you really want to call it biochar. That's the one trick that people you know uh, really miss is these companies that say, "Oh yeah, it's biochar," but they haven't activated it. It's literally just the char. That's where if you're going to buy it commercially, at Walmart or Home Depot or wherever you're buying it, take it home, activate it. Know it's activated before you use it. It's like Andy, you were talking about the compost in the bags. You know, if you take that home and you put that in your compost pile, add it in, give it 30 days, that you're actually creating a fresh compost. It takes a lot less time for that compost to activate with biology. But yeah, don't just use it out of a plastic bag because it's not alive.
So you can, one of the ways, remember, compost is a good activator, but so is the tea.
Yeah, yeah.
So is the tea to be either put it into the tea or spray it with the tea.
Yes, but give it time.
Yeah.
It is going to take some time. That's where I mentioned aquaponics, because that's an aquatic ecosystem that's full of biology. If you dump a hunk of like a larger hunk of biochar into that and give it 30 days, you take that out, it's so full of biology, it would blow your mind.
That's so cool, and it would appear that it would be very useful to use it. So if you have, you know how they had that geodome of self-enclosed.
Yep.
I wonder what would have happened if they had any biochar to use, because they didn't do any of that.
No, not back then. But like you think about it, Andy, the other thing that we use charcoal for is for odor. And any cannabis grower out there that's growing indoors,
Yeah.
they always put up the carbon filter because you didn't want the odor escaping. These are different ways where charcoal it is used. So if you got old filters that you used, crack those open. There's some char for you.
That's
Just saying,
fun. That's fun. That is funny. That's funny. So
But yeah, you're spraying tea on it. That's great, and you're putting it in your worm bins. Uh, you know, you're taking, like, I know you're changing out your worm bin here, Annie, and restarting it because it's all full of castings. There's nothing else left. You're going to take your compost that you've been making and add that in there, or are you going to, bring in some of Leighton's? Give us a preview of
see,
what you're going to do.
normally I would just use my own compost as part of recycling. But because I'm very gifted with a variety of different people who make very nice compost in the area here, I like taking the best from each one of them. Give me a bag, I take a bag, and that will uh, be a wide range of biology because I have somebody that only uses horses. I have, Leighton's, for example, I saw his stuff the other day. Really, really amazing stuff. And so that's a unique product right there. I also have Michael Whitman, who makes his own compost, which is also a very cool, very unique product. So I have a couple other friends who make one's called Magic Compost, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Or no, Soma, something I forgot. Oh, Cosmic Compost.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I have another friend that's really into the biodynamic system, so they make a really cool biodynamic compost. And so I take all of them, as many of them as I can, because not all often do I get to corral all these things together. And then not even mentioning, I get a blend of the rock dust, blend them together, a little bit of C90, that gets sprinkled in throughout the mixture. And so and then that compost, in my opinion, would have a wide range of biology. And I also use, I forget the name. It sounds like a Chinese name. Bok choy,
Bok choy, bokashi. Bokashi. Actually, this past Monday, so 2 days ago, we had a bokashi expert on. You might want to check out Quadamoc Villa. He's really into bokashi and
right. Now that is really a cool way to definitely activate anything with that. I added a little bit to my worm farm. I've been putting it in my yard. Of course, I got it from Michael. Hi, Michael. And it's really cool. And also there's a couple other ways that you can activate it. And because remember, I'm really very old. I'm hardly here, but the Korean farming methods is a very cool way to learn. One of the things you can learn from this is how to use that to activate your biochar, right? And so, for example, I'm just in the process. A couple of these days now, I have 20 pounds of organic rice, and I'm making two things with it: a liquid from the rice, and I'm also using the rice into the ground. Now, the liquid, if I had a biochar that I wanted to activate, I would put it in the liquid, let it sit in there like it would be cooking, and definitely would activate that. So I use the rice. It's a very cool way to do it. You buy organic rice, and you can make a liquid out of it, and let it sit in the liquid, and it would take the longer. I don't really know how long it would take. I doubt it if it's months, but I have a feeling it'd be even just days would be better than not doing it at all. But,
anything is better than nothing, and like there's so much lactic acid bacteria that is drawn to that rice water. It's one of the reasons Chinese women, they would, make or wash their rice, and they would put that rice bowl outside, and then they would wash their faces the next day in that. And that's one of the reasons their skin is so nice, is all that biology that was drawn into that rice water overnight. People don't understand just how much biology is in the air that we breathe in and is surrounding us. But that's a Korean natural farming thing, making your own lactic acid bacteria. But I just wanted to hit Farmer Sherrill's question here. Ken mentioned using urine to activate biochar. Can human manure poop be converted to biochar? How would this compare with biosolids? The second part of that question, I have no idea. I don't know that there's enough solid carbon
I
where
don't
that
think so.
would work and you'd be able to make a char out of it at all.
Best way to do it is they take the whole body,
Yeah,
burn it.
but then that's your bone being
Yeah,
turned
right.
into
Then
biochar.
then you have end up, and that's not really so far fetched because sooner or later you have to figure out what to do with all these bodies. Might as well turn them into biochar, and then it sounds like biochar, right? Because it's made from your body, biochar. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that would be a cool way to reactivate the soil.
Recycle the human body, but
I think that would
the
be really cool.
urine. And somebody else pointed out, as long as you're not on a whole shitload of pharmaceutical drugs, and that's one of the big things. But Sam Overton, I can't remember the name of his channel, but he's out in the middle of Texas. He's refabbing or reinvigorating a bunch of scrub brush property that he has in Texas. One of the things that he is doing is using the capturing the urine from the crew and himself, and then he loads that up in with biochar, lets it sit for at least 30, 60, or 90 days. I can't remember what he's doing, but yeah, you can use urine to invigorate a compost pile that's went dead. Our The human body has so much biology in it, unless you're using the pharmaceuticals and killing it. It can do amazing things, but it's really concentrated. It's like using chicken feces, right out of the butt of the chicken on your garden. You're going to kill everything. You're going to burn everything because it's hot. Human urine is hot as well. You want to have it, ferment for a while, I guess would be a nice way to put it.
Well, I remember in Cuba and Puerto Rico, that's what they use. They use their urine for lots of different things.
Yeah.
One of the easiest one of the ones I remember is my mother would say, "Go pee in the corner. Everybody take a corner and pee out of the garden and pee."
Yeah.
So, and that tends to keep the animals out.
Well, yeah, a lot of people use that as a deer guard,
Yeah.
and if you get, say, bear urine, okay, and you put it around your camp, there ain't no wolf that's going to come close to it because of that smell. It's why
So
animals, cats, mark their territories. Dogs mark their territory. It's
speaking of
that
urine,
scent.
I would go to the Metro Zoo and I would get a lion pee,
Yeah.
and you sprinkle a little bit of lion pee in your yard. The cats, the dogs, rabbits, squirrels, everything stays away.
It's an apex predator that they naturally, when they smell that, they're going, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get eaten,
So
I'm running away."
so
Okay.
I was going to the Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers. Barnum, I always have a hard time with that. Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I would get elephant poop, and I found that elephant poop is just as effective at keeping animal waste as tiger and other predators, because they would smell it and go, "I don't know what that is, but I am out of here."
yeah, no doubt.
Exactly right. I would
So
get the elephant pee and the elephant poop, and that really works to keep rabbits and other creatures away. But
yeah,
and it's a lot harder to get elephant these days. So that was the good old days when you had elephant poop.
the good old days. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah, man. I used to
I
get.
think we're getting old, Andy.
They asked me, "Would you like elephant poop? Because we have so much of it, we don't know what to do with it." And I would go there, and I got tired of shoveling. So, and they had this bridge that the elephants would go up and down and play. And I said, "Can I park my truck, pick up underneath the bridge? Couldn't they just pull right into the truck?" And they did that. I had a lot of fun with that. But the elephant manure hardens into bricks.
Yeah.
You need a chainsaw to cut it up once it's a brick. So that's what I did. I cut it up into bricks, and because then it falls apart, you can make something from it.
Yeah.
But it's a one part. I had a shovel in it, and it hardened. You couldn't. It was like the sword, the magic sword. You couldn't pull it out. I should have done a little video of George's sword, magic sword. I've gone through a lot of Excalibur, exactly. I've gone through a lot of different journeys in my compost making. In Florida, I used to get manure from elephant, rabbit, sheep, goat, deer, llamas, different kinds of llamas, pigs. I would get, let's see, I already got the rabbits and the sheep, the goat manure, of course, So that's like nine things right there. And I know, cow, right? So that's 10 different types of manure right there. I'm pretty sure I got chicken in there, and that was, and it's very interesting when you're blending them all together because they all. One of my favorite, believe it or not, is rabbit poop, which is little pellets. Same thing with llama, the little pellets. So I call them time released, and they really are time released. You can take one of those little pellets and make a liquid out of it, and then spray it. And if you left it in the liquid, you'll see it over a couple of days. It really starts to get you. So well, what is that, right? But you can smell it. Very, very active. They're very compressed little pills, and they're very high in nitrogen and very high. You can literally sprinkle them over your yard or in your garden. One of the best way, and the worms go through it to activate your yard with that. I really miss being able to access different types of animal manure because that's one of my favorite way to bring biology into a garden.
Well, it's basically like Korean natural farming's IMO, indigenous microorganisms. If you're gathering different manures from different animals, each gut of each animal has a different mix of biology in it. Each, tract that releases that manure out the ass end has different biology in it. And, so you're basically, it's like collecting an IMO from all those different animals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Biology. Oh, yeah. And I forgot the horse. Horse is in there too. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Because when I started learning real starters biodynamics, that's exactly what he wants. That's exactly what he says. You get them all. There happens to be some that are better. The cow is the best one amongst them. Actually, the best one is the elephant, right? The elephant with big, giant, massive stomach. Same thing with the earthworm. But that was the idea. Is you get all these different types of biology from all these different animals. They're different because they look at them. They're all different types of stomach. It's all in the stomach, right? All different. Yeah. And the cow has 2 stomachs.
4. Ruminoids have 4 stomachs.
4. There you go. See, I knew it was more. It was more than 1. But they have 4 stomachs, and that's like. Do you know any other animals that have 4 stomachs?
I believe they're ruminoids. So
ruminoid
like cattle, elk, deer.
Oh, I see.
Buffalo. I think. Don't quote me on that one.
Okay, yeah, because and that makes it really very interesting because if we had 4 stomachs, we would probably be healthier too because each stomach obviously has something different going on in order, as it passes through each stomach. Either something happens differently in each stomach, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why the a cow, brings that food back up and re-chews it because that first stomach is only starting the process.
Oh, is that what it does?
Crush it. It starts chewing their cud, and then they swallow down into another stomach. But
is that what
only got less than a minute, brah.
Well, is that what they do? That's pretty cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, there's lots of animals that do that.
Bring it up from one stomach, do it, put it back in the other stomach, pull it back out from the other stomach, put it in the. Oh my goodness.
Okay, and here's Lily. Ruminoids include cattle, deer, goats, sheep, giraffes, elk, and bison. So there you go.
Yeah. That's why the bison is such a good one too. So are goats. That's why I like
Yeah.
the goats, because the goat poop is I knew it was really super active, right? Very,
Yeah.
very cool. And I
Well,
think
they're
it helps.
fermenting their food, and it's so much better for them, and that's
Yeah.
what we should be doing. But Andy, we're out of time, brother. Next week we're talking about mulch, and you want me to go off on a handle on that one, man.
Yeah, we're not going to be here next week. We're going to be
Oh,
taking the Christmas and
yeah,
New Year.
Christmas and New Year's we're taking off. So in 3 weeks we'll be back with the next episode in 2026 or yeah, we're in 2025 right now, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
And guys, the ladies are on tomorrow on Chiropractic is Sexy. It's going to be their last show of the year. And then I've got special guests on Saturday. We're going to be having a couple of guests on. So you guys are going to want to check that out. Keep posted. Check out the website. Check out what's going on. Subscribe to the channel. And if you can, help support us. Become a defender of the biology. Go down to the join button. Choose whatever your rate. Help us out for Christmas. And guys, Merry Christmas. I'll be on tomorrow with the ladies and Sunday and Saturday. So, guys, there's lots more happening before Christmas. But Merry Christmas, everybody. Love you all.